Joe, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. The organization meeting of the Board of School Directors of Exeter Township District will now come to order. Would everyone please stand and join in the pledge to the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Gonna call roll for the holdover members. Deborah Bloom. John Fiddler.
Here.
Dr. Ann Herring.
Here.
Travis Odom.
Here.
Allison Wilson.
Here.
4 are present. The purpose of this annual organization meeting is to organize the board for the coming year by seating newly elected and re-elected board members and by electing a permanent president and vice president. Immediately following the reorganization meeting this evening, we'll be convening for a December committee of the whole meeting. No one signed up for public comment. At this time, a temporary president shall be elected by holdover members of the board to preside over the seating of new members, followed by a nomination and election of a new president and vice president. The first order of business is to elect a temporary president to chair the organization meeting. Is there a nomination for temporary president?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Dr. Ann Herring.
Are there any further nominations? Seeing none, if there's no objection, I will declare nominations closed. All in favor of Anna Herring for temporary president, please signify by saying A.
Aye.
Aye. I did that last year too. Are there any opposed? Dr. Herring, it's your meeting.
I wrote an I there next to it, so I know to say my myself. Next order of business is the oath of office for newly elected board members. Pursuant to Section 402 of the Pennsylvania Public School Code, I hereby call for the new and re-elected members of the board to come forward and present their certificates of election. Okay. I guess we can move forward with the oath. Judge Fegley, thank you. No, it's okay. It's okay. Thank you, Judge Fegley. New and re-elected members may please have a seat at the table. Okay. We're just waiting for the board secretary to take care of a signature, and then we'll continue. Thank you, Brian. Okay. Please note for the record that Julia Schaefer has already taken her oath of office in anticipation of being absent this evening. Next, I will now open the floor to nominations for the office of president. Is there a nomination for president?
I'd like to nominate Julia Schaefer for president.
Travis Odom has nominated Julia Schaefer for president. Are there any further nominations? Seeing none, if there's no objection, I declare the nominations closed. Our board policy number 005 states that the election of an officer requires the winning candidate to receive a majority of all votes cast by those present voting. Since there are 7 members present, 4 votes are necessary to win if everyone presents with a vote. All in favor for Julia Schaefer for president, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The vote is unanimous in favor of Julia Schaefer, and she has been elected president. Congratulations, Mrs. Schaefer. Next, I open the floor to nominations for the office of vice president. Is there a nomination for vice president?
I'd like to nominate Allison Wilson.
Jason Mell has nominated Allison Wilson for vice president. Are there any further nominations for the office of vice president? Seeing none, if there's no objection, I declare the nominations closed. All in favor for Allison Wilson for vice president, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The vote is unanimous in favor of Allison Wilson, and she has been elected vice president. Congratulations, Mrs. Wilson. Since our new president is absent today, we'll turn the meeting over to our new vice president, Allison. The gavel is yours.
There are a few more things we need to address before we can wrap up the reorganization meeting. It is recommended that the Board of School Directors set board meeting dates for 2026 per the attached list on the agenda. Every member has before them a schedule of regular board meetings through the next year. If the members of the board see a need to make any changes to the schedule at this point, I will open the floor to discussion. If our discussion reveals a need for some immediate action, I will entertain an appropriate motion.
Mrs. Wilson, over here. I did notice there are some dates on there that I think are conflicting, and I might be wrong. February 17th, voting meeting, the day before school is closed, I believe. February 17th voting meeting. I believe the day before the school is closed. So we might want to double check on that. The other date I saw was April 7th, the cow. Again, I think school is closed the day before. May 19th, I think are the primaries, primary elections. And that's it.
Okay, so should we move February 17th and April 7th to Wednesdays?
Yeah, let me just bring up our calendar. So January 17th, yes, that
Okay. Is everyone all right if we make those changes? So we would be moving February 17th to the 18th, April 7th to the 8th. Those 2 days would be going from Tuesday to Wednesday, and then May 19th would go backwards to May 18th on Monday. Okay. So could the board should then direct the secretary to advertise our meeting schedule for the coming year as set forth in policy number 006. Even if we will be considering a change to our schedule, the Sunshine Act would require us to give 3 days public notice of our regular meeting of the calendar or fiscal year, and we would give you that direction if we needed to. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. It is recommended that the Board of School Directors authorize signatures with PNC Bank for the district's disbursement checking account for all funds as follows. President Julia Schaefer, Vice President Allison Wilson, Board Secretary Brian Fike. Say all those in favor? And Diane Donahue for treasurer. All those in favor? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. It is recommended that the Board of School Directors authorize current signatures to be official until electronic signatures can be obtained for the 2026 school board officials. I believe we have completed the agenda for the organization meeting. What's that? We have to vote? Oh, okay. We have to vote on that. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Any discussion? I missed that part. Motion carries. All right. Now, I believe we have completed the agenda for the organization meeting. Members of the public are advised that after we adjourn the organization meeting tonight, we'll just have a 5-minute break and then reconvene right afterwards with our regular December committee of the whole meeting, also scheduled for this evening. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Make that motion.
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries and we are adjourned. We will reconvene in 5 minutes. Okay, are we ready to get started? Okay.
Okay, we're ready to start again.
All right, here we go. I did.
She wasn't as aggressive.
Sorry, yeah, I'll work on that. Good evening and welcome to the December 3rd, 2025 Committee of the Whole meeting of the Exeter Township School Board. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Fike, can you take roll call, please?
Julia Schaefer, Allison Wilson,
Here.
Dr. Andrea Battler,
Here.
Deborah Bloom, Joseph Cook,
Here.
John Fiddler,
Here.
Dr. Ann Herring,
Present.
Jason Mell,
Here.
Travis Odom.
Thank you,
Six
Ms.
present, 3 absent.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Fike. In addition to the 6 board members in attendance this evening, we're also joined at the board table by our solicitor, Sharon Montaigne, and members of the school district administration, including Dr. Christy Haller, superintendent, Mrs. Dawn Harris, assistant superintendent, Dr. Josh Hoyt, director of teaching and learning, Mrs. Diane Skornovaki, director of human resources, and Mr. Brian Fike, who serves as our business administrator and board secretary. The meeting minutes for November are attached. Does anyone have any changes or discussion they would like to make regarding meeting minutes for the November 3rd Committee of the Whole meeting or the November 18th Board voting meeting? Okay, we will move those along then. We will not be amending the agenda this evening, and we are going to have an academic update presentation tonight.
Thank you, Mrs. Wilson. I'd like to welcome to the meeting tonight Mrs. Angela Cook, who is the Executive Director of the Education Foundation, along with a number of the students who are part of the Student Ambassador Program. The Student Ambassador Program started as a conversation between myself and Ange one night, as we typically do, while I'm trying to make dinner and she's trying to get her kids something to eat. And we were trying to think of ways that we could get students more involved in what's happening in our district, what's happening in our community. Oftentimes as adults, whether you're in education or a parent, myself being a parent, or a lot of times legislators think they have these like really great ideas about what things that need to be done for kids. And in actuality, sometimes they're not great ideas because the people that we forgot to include in the conversation was the kids themselves. And so we wanted to step into a way and promote a way that we could hear what our students were saying, what they needed. And because the whole point of ECEF is it is an education foundation that gives back to our students here in this district, whether it's directly to the students or by supporting something for the teachers that the district simply cannot because of budget constraints. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Ange, and I just want to let the board know that this was intentionally done for the intent of not having a presentation. This is not a presentation. We did not talk to the students about what I wanted them to say. I wanted them to come in and speak about their experience. We wanted it to be completely unscripted because the whole point of this is about hearing student voice.
Thank you. Thank you again for inviting us. You invite us every year to talk and update you guys on what we're doing, so I appreciate that. And also for allowing us to share monthly updates with a board report. We appreciate the opportunity to keep the community informed about our work. I'd like to briefly reintroduce Exeter Community Education Foundation. We are a 501c3 nonprofit that operates independently from the Exeter Township School District. Our expenses, including my role as executive director, are funded entirely through our events, our fundraising, and our grants, including the EITC program. All decisions are made by our 24-member voting board, and we're also fortunate enough to have Dr. Haller, Mrs. Schaefer, and Mr. Matt Goldstand as non-voting liaisons, supporting strong communication with the district, the school board, and the Alumni Association, respectively. Even though I am not a district employee, my entire focus for my job is supporting Exeter students. We don't use tax dollars, and we don't fund core curriculum needs. Instead, we provide opportunities through teacher mini grants, special programs, and our student outreach work. Since our beginning in 2008, we've invested over $750,000 into the district, supporting STEM initiatives, programs like digital art, capital projects like the Eagle's Nest Cafe, and countless other teacher-driven projects. I know that sometimes there can be confusion about who we are, and honestly, I think some of that comes from how closely we work with the administration. That collaborative partnership is something that we value deeply, and it allows us to bring meaningful opportunities to our students. And that spirit of collaboration brings me to our student ambassadors. Kind of mirroring what Dr. Heller said, like our board, or like your board, ours is a group of adults sitting around a table, making decisions about funds that we've been trusted to steward. Ours through donation, and yours on a much larger scale with taxpayer dollars. And it felt like the right time to bring the voices of the students we're trying to support directly into the process. Last year, we opened applications to then sophomores and juniors, who are now juniors and seniors, who were interested in serving as student ambassadors on our board. We hoped for maybe 6 students to start, and we have 17. They've been attending our board and committee meetings, joining their own ambassador sessions, and offering perspectives that have truly energized our work. I personally am incredibly proud of them. I know that our board is too. I've been walking them through how nonprofits operate, and they've been naturally gravitating towards areas that they're interested in, like finance, events, marketing, and more. We're also very mindful of their busy schedules and want this to be a meaningful and manageable experience for everybody. One of our goals was to give them the full experience of planning an event from start to finish, so I'm thrilled to share that their chosen project is called Sparkles and Shine, and it's a prom designed for their special education classmates who may not be able to attend a typical large prom or dance. I've spoken enough. I'm going to turn it over. I brought 7 students who are going to talk to you, starting with Chase Detweiler.
Good evening to the board, district administration, and thank you again for the opportunity to speak with you today. I joined the ambassador program not entirely sure what it would look like, but I knew that I wanted to be able to have more of a positive voice for our students and in our community. And even in the few months that we've had together, I'm proud to say that I've been able to do that, as well as our other ambassadors. Like Ange mentioned, we've been very active at their board meetings. They've been very receptive of us and inclusive of our comments. We've been discussing projects that we've already been able to successfully complete, like the aquaponics throughout the district. In my AP Environmental Science class, we've had the privilege of working with those. So that's special to me. It's a fun time, and I'm sure the younger grades appreciate it even more. In addition to things that Ange touched on, like the Eagle's Nest as well, we've been able to provide some feedback on that. And, looking to the future, as she mentioned with our Sparkles and Shine prom, I'll let one of my other ambassadors touch on that. But really, to me, I wanted to contribute to the mission of ECEF really improving the community for our students. I want to go into education myself. I'm planning on going for chemistry secondary education in the upcoming year. So I realize that school is not purely academics. School is a place where people feel safe, they are welcome, they are accepted, and ECEF being able to support, some of these initiatives that aren't necessarily a district, I don't want to say issue, but it's not part of the curriculum, so they don't cover it. But we are really able to enhance that student experience and make it feel like a better place to be. And to me, that's the thing that I'm most proud of. And I am just so grateful to have such, our leadership has been fantastic. We have a really strong team. And even our juniors next year moving up, I know that they're going to have an even more successful run than ours. So again, I just really wanted to be able to make Exeter an even better place for our students than it already is. We've been very successful in doing that so far, and I'm really looking forward to see what we're able to accomplish in the future. Thank you. Chase Detweiler.
Hi, I'm Ethan Tibbetts. I'm a ECF ambassador, and I'm also a student or a senior here at Exeter. And last year I got the opportunity to join the club here, and one of the things that I found really helpful was that I was able to provide my voice while also learning from the club. The club lets us look into different committees and see how we can apply the things that we are interested in. I'm really interested in finance, and this was really interesting for me because I've been able to see how the funding decisions are made and how the other financial literacy programs here are being proposed. And I also feel like I've been able to provide my input pretty well with some of the stuff like with the library, and also as a president of business club, I've been able to provide my input with that, and I feel like both of those things combined have been able to help my educational experience, but also ones for future students here.
Ethan, could you come back probably January or February? No, I'm sorry, not to the podium. I was going to say, if you could come back early next year when we're talking about the budget, we'd love to get your input on that when that comes around.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Selena Dominguez, and I'm a senior here at Exeter. Last year, I had the opportunity given to me to submit my application to this program. I didn't really know what ECEF was, so when the notification for it first came out, I, of course, wanted to dig deeper. After doing my research, I found that it's something that I would enjoy and love to be a part of. It's all about community and helping other students, and if you know me, you know I'm all about community and I'm all about helping others. That's something I strive for. So getting to join this program and being so hands-on and helping students like me and students in general has been such a gift. I've already gotten the opportunity to work with big people. Like I had the opportunity to interview Brian Johnson, who was awarded at the ECEF Gala for his commitment to ECEF, and being able to talk to him and see through his perspective why ECEF is so important, as well as being able to talk to him in a business standpoint, because what I want to do in the future closely relates to what he does now. It has been such a gift and such an opportunity. And being able to plan the special education prom is also something that I find so amazing. So they've given me the opportunity to start to decorate the event, and I think that that's so special because I want to be an event planner. So being able to have hands-on in this and just do what I want and to help others has just been a great opportunity for me, and everything that this group stands for I just find so amazing. So thank you.
Good evening. My name is Abigail Wade, and I'm a senior. When the invitation was sent out last year, my junior year, I knew I had to jump on that opportunity. I've always been looking for more ways to get involved with the community, and I felt like this was definitely the first step. So when we joined, I found it so incredible what this foundation does. It has impacted me so deeply in many ways. First, being able to have my voice heard and know that as students, you guys care about our opinion and what we do. And it was also really important to just see the impact that this foundation has on the community. All of their work is so thoughtful and so well planned out. So to be able to see the behind the scenes of that and see their work in action has been absolutely wonderful. As a student, you don't really get to see the behind the scenes. So being able to see this and be a part of it has been truly important to me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Madison Herneisen. I joined last year because even though I'm not a lifelong Eagle, I only started going here in high school. I have a lot of pride in the school district, and I'm very close with the Cook family, and I've firsthand seen some of the amazing things ECF can do. I'm a senior at Exeter, and I plan on majoring in elementary special education. So this was a great opportunity for me to get involved, and coincidentally, a lot of the work ECF does just happens to be with special ed, so it's been a really great opportunity for me. Some of the things I've done was I delivered a grant to Dr. Combs at the senior high school. She's the choir teacher. It was flameless candles for their winter concert, and she was really happy about that. I've also worked with student outreach in like fundraising and shopping. And I've been working with a special ed prom. A couple weeks ago at a football game, we were selling Pura Vida bracelets, and it did well. And we are continuing to sell for the Spanish Club craft fair, which is on the next Wednesday. And all the funds from that will go towards the special ed prom Sparkles and Shine. I came up with the bracelet idea, and I'm very, very proud of that idea, and I'm hoping it'll continue to do well. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having me. My name's Abby Renninger. I'm a junior in high school, and I'm just so thankful to be a part of this organization. It's not just fun, but it's great to be part of such a big impact in our community, and I think ECEF gets kind of overlooked, and not a lot of people in our school know about it, so it's really great to not just be a part of it, but to get to share it with people that don't quite understand the impact. It's great to not just be part of it at a surface level, but to get to see the inner workings of Exeter and really understand all the effort that's going into our fundraisers and our events, getting to have a say in that. When we give feedback, we're not just saying it, we're being heard and we're being understood, and that makes such a big difference, especially coming from the younger generation, so I think that's really valuable. One of the things we've been doing recently is the Eagle's Nest Cafe. That's made such a huge impact in our school. I know some of the special ed kids from cheering with them or from working with them, and it is genuinely they love it so much. And it's so great to see them interacting with students that they know or that they don't know, and they just love making the drinks and giving out the food and getting to shout out numbers and stuff. They have so much fun with it, so it's really great to see kind of that joy being brought into the district. I'm going into healthcare, so it's really great to kind of have a natural need to want to help people out. So I think that this is a great way to kind of stem further into that. And recently I gave a grant to Miss Thomas and Miss Preston. I gave them a robotic baby for their lessons. And it was great. They had a great reaction to it. They were really excited for their upcoming program. So it was really great to be a part of that and just everything that we're doing. I'm really excited for the future, and I think we're doing great things. So thank you guys for having me.
Hi, I'm Adam Cook. As a senior, the emotional roller coaster of it being my final year at Exeter has, been a little crazy to take in. And as I was coming here this evening, I looked across the creek and I saw the high school that I've called home for the past 4 years, and I was like, yeah, I've enjoyed this. I've had a really good time here, and I'm really thankful that I've been able to call Exeter my home for my experience here. But I understand that there are a lot of people who may not have that shared experience, may not have the same pride in Exeter that I may have had over the past couple of years. So I think that's, even though I view that high school, I'm like, yeah, I love that building. There are a lot of people who may not love that building. And I think it's why it's so important to always, keep driving forward with what's happening in here, what's happening at the high school, what's happening with ECEF. And I think all of this combining to work together is so important. Myself and a lot of the people behind me as students, we are leaders in our clubs, and there's a lot of expectations on us by fellow peers and fellow students to drive policy initiatives, but there's not much we can do in that, and all of that happens in this room. So I think that is why it's so awesome for us students to be up here in front of a microphone, to be able to speak on how we should be directing the school district, be directing our schools, and what's really needed here. So I thank everyone for letting us come out. I thank the entire ECF board for creating this ambassador program, because I think it has already started some really great change. And I've seen ECF for many years and what it's been able to do, and it's only expanding. So there's so many opportunities here. Thank you.
So thank you. Thank you for coming out tonight. Thank you for speaking about your experience. As you can see, that's why we didn't want to have anything scripted. We wanted the students to actually share their experiences from their heart. And one of the things that don't get me wrong, I love being the superintendent of Exeter. I love the opportunity that I've been given, but my most favorite job will always be being an elementary principal, because that's when you really get to know kids and build relationships. And there's a number of students that are here tonight that were students of mine when I was at Lorraine, and I was very fortunate and have been fortunate to know them since they were 5 years old. So seeing them and blossom into the adults that they are is something that's extremely special. But for an adult in a leadership role who's not in a building anymore, having a program like this and having ECEF allow me to be part of this is also hugely important, because I think when people who are in leadership roles, such as being a superintendent, lose touch with their people, and their people is the kids, I think that's when things go really bad in districts. And so having that opportunity to stay connected to our students and hear them, because these students, they're young adults. They know what they want. They have plans. They're super involved. They're aware of what's going on. They have great experiences, and they have important stories that adults in this room and in our schools need to hear, so that way we can continue to make really good decisions about what they need, and they're telling us, and I think it's important that we listen. So thank you for being the first to come on this journey for us. Thank you to Ange for really doing the lion's share of the work with the communication with the students. And thank you to all of you for continuing to be supportive of the things that we bring forward for our students. So thanks, guys.
I did have one question, if I could, please. Mrs. Cook, how, if students are interested in being a student ambassador, can you elaborate on the process there, on how they can go about that, or how they would be selected?
Sure. So in the last spring, we put together a Google form, and that went out through Schoology to the students who, like I said, were in 10th and 11th grade. So we would do that again in the spring. So basically information about the student, what they're interested in, like what other activities they're in. Guys, do you remember what else I had on there? I think, how it related to their future goals. Yeah, like how it relates to their future goals, like what they envision for Exeter and how they can help. So I hope that with the success so far with this inaugural group that we can get more kids, because I think Abigail, I think she left, I think we might have 2 or 3 juniors. The rest are seniors. And this is a really great senior class. So I'm really hopeful that they can influence the younger grades to want to help and keep the program going.
Thank you.
Does anyone have questions for the students before they go?
I have a question, and I don't know, Ange, if maybe you can answer it, but I'm curious to know if any of the ambassadors are students at the Career and Technology Center.
Yes, so Abigail, who just spoke,
Yes.
she is a BCTC student,
Oh, great.
and we do have another student as well who's there. So it can be a little tricky because trying to get everybody to meet at the same time, is difficult. Even with regular circumstances, these kids are very high achieving students. They have jobs, they are in clubs, they have a whole lot going on. So it is difficult to get everyone together, but I do try and reach out to them specifically, like, what time are you going to BCTC? Let me come over and give you this animatronic baby to present to a teacher, and
Right.
and try and make sure that they're involved.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much for being here tonight. We definitely benefit from hearing your thoughts and your ideas and listening to your experiences. And also, Mrs. Cook, and to your ECF board, thank you for serving as role models then for our students, because I heard them say, their interest in education and finance and healthcare. And I think that their experience on this board will help serve them as they move forward. So thank you very much. And we definitely appreciate the student voices that we heard tonight. Thank you. You are free to go.
Unless you want to stay.
Unless you want to stay. Okay, next we'll be reviewing we have public comments tonight, but we do not have anybody listed, so we don't have any public comment. We will then be moving on to our committees, and the first committee is Education Committee with me. So we will be voting on next month a list of staff conferences that are provided below. Also, just reporting on 2 field trips within the 60-mile radius for the senior high school and junior high school students. And then we will be voting on an early graduation request per
just
District
one?
Policy 217.
Is there just one? Because it says attached. I didn't know how many there were going to be graduating early.
Yes, it is just 1. 2?
That's fine. Sorry, I didn't see the
it's on the top
attachment.
of the
Did I
next
miss
page.
it?
Okay, sorry. Top of the next page.
Scroll down.
I can't. It won't. Yeah. I am logged in. That's why I'm like, because I got these ones.
Those are public.
No. Oh, maybe I'm not logged in.
You got it? Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm always logged in. I don't know what happened. I apologize.
All right, and then that's fine. The next thing is the senior high school Soaring Eagle. We will be voting on the 2026-2027 school year. There are a few changes in there. I didn't know if, yep.
So just for the board's information, this is a yearly item that we bring before just to update the board on the Soaring Eagle. For those that are not familiar, the Soaring Eagle is basically the program of studies for senior high students that starts the beginning of the scheduling season for both our junior high and senior high administration. So we provide you with the overview of the document, and then Mr. Campbell and Dr. El Carroll will go over any changes that would be new or are different than the previous year.
There it is. All right, there we go. So we'll be updating the graduation requirements for the class of 2028 and beyond. They're the first group that's affected. Really, there's no significant changes overall. We still have the 24 credit graduation requirement. And effectively what we've done is we've taken that half credit requirement for financial literacy and moved that out of the elective category for students. We don't think that that's going to have significant changes for our scheduling. We have some plans around that because the certification for that course can be taught from a couple of different departments, and we have some pre-existing courses that will meet that requirement as well, so students will have some options with that. But I do think it's going to be a valuable course for a lot of students, and we're going to be developing the half credit course this spring. That course itself is the money management and financial literacy course, which you see listed as the next bullet. The next are some changes that happen every year where we eliminate or add some courses back into the cycle. This year, we've collapsed the honors and AP physics courses. That has been a very successful merging of those. They were very similar curricula, and that has benefited the students to take the AP course. And then some others have been just some longer term changes that have to do with enrollment that have declined, lack of interest in those courses. Students have picked up interest in other courses, and that's the oceanography and writing for the 21st century. And with some of the changes that we've had with our expansion of the dual enrollment program, we took a closer look at the language and the course descriptions to make sure that it was clear that all of those courses are contingent upon RAC's certification of those classes and teachers, and it's not a promise to any student who sign up for those. But by and large, we've had a lot of success in our work partnership with RAC in getting all of those approved.
I have a question.
Mr. Campbell, do we have, with the new finance and lit course, do we have enough staffing to cover it?
Yeah, there won't be the staffing is pretty much driven by the students in the building. There's no change in the students. So students will be same number of students, same number of teachers. So in terms of where that's staffed from, that's going to be pulled from a couple of different departments, math, social studies. We have quite a few students that are going to meet that requirement by taking the existing financial literacy class. We're doing a crosswalk with our Life 101 course. So about a third, maybe more than a third of the students will have already met the requirement through our existing coursework, and the rest of it should be easily picked up with social studies and English classes. And it's half credit, so it actually fits in pretty well with a lot of junior and senior schedules.
Okay, so it's very flexible with like certification of the teacher?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, one of the questions I had, so I was looking through a bunch of these, and so I see a lot of, regular, then honors, and then AP, and a lot of, for example, I'll pick science just because I like science. For example, AP biology and honors biology both are dual enrollment through RAC, and they both have pretty much the same description. So I'm a little confused, like, why do we do it that way? It's the same with chemistry, like it'll say honors chemistry, but it's dual enrollment. It'll say AP chemistry, dual enrollment. I mean, they're the same thing. So when a child signs up for, say, honors, they're actually taking AP chemistry.
So for those two courses, the AP Bio and the AP Chem, the College Board recommends that they have a prior course in that subject area. So students who are planning to take AP Bio take AP Chem in one semester, and then they get the AP the following. Students wanting to take AP Bio are be taking Honors Bio in the fall and AP Bio in the spring. The AP Bio builds upon the Honors Bio that's in the fall. Both are dual enrollment courses. They're different dual enrollment courses at RAC.
Okay, so just from experience, my daughter wanted to take chemistry. She'd already taken biology, so she signed up for chemistry. I explained that she would prefer honors chemistry just because how biology was slow, we'll say. So I said, can we do honors chemistry? Yes. We got in there, and it is dual enrollment AP. There was no regular chemistry. It was straight into chemistry at a AP level, which she's doing fine with. I'm not negating it. I just wanted to make sure when our students are choosing these that they understand what they're choosing, because when I see it and I read AP Bio and then I read honors bio or honors chemistry versus AP chemistry, etc., it does say that they should have, it does say they're both dual enrollment, and it does say they have to complete Algebra 2 and, you know, those types of things, but it doesn't actually say in here, in the, like, online in the Soaring Eagle, that they are going to be both taught at the same pace, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So when I asked after my kids were already enrolled, after my kid was already enrolled, I found out that it was different. It's not the same as on here. I have to look at something else. So I just, so science, and the same is true, for example, science is one of them. Social studies, I think, was another one that was kind of both in a couple. Mathematics, and I just wanted to make sure, like, I understand, so there's honors calculus, there's AP calculus, there's honors probability statistics, AP statistics, like, there's all these different things. I want to make sure that when I'm helping my child choose, because in this case I let I just lost the word for their counselor, their counselor helped them choose, you know, this is what they chose, and they got kind of slapped in the face the first week of school. They were like, whoa, this is going to be like college, right? Because that's what the teacher said first day of school. So as a parent, I want to be able to say, okay, this is how it's broken down. No, you're not going to get into this class unless you've had this class, like these prerequisites. But as it says in here, it does say that both are RAC, you know, for they're RAC associated. One does not say Chemistry 1 and Chemistry 2, they both say the same thing. So that's where I, like I said, I just want to make sure that I understand this so that other parents understand it, because I didn't.
No, I think you're getting to a really important point. And if you have some of those specific examples that you've caught, I would love to sit and look at those more specifically with you, because having students pick the right course or courses is one of the most important things we need them to do every spring, so that we can schedule them and they can have a successful year the next year. So we've got sessions with the counselors. I think the Soaring Eagle is a one point to start that, but I would highly encourage anybody that's got questions about what those courses really are to have those conversations with their current year teacher or the next year teacher. Current year teachers know them best as students, but don't know exactly how they're going to do in a next or different course. It's not a simple decision. So I think having those conversations at home, talking to the counselor, following up with the teachers, and then making the best guess that you can with that, and know that there may be some changes, because even between the time that students sign up in February and when they start those classes in August, that's a large chunk of time in a student's life, and their interests and their abilities have evolved in that time. So we want to be as accommodating as possible, but we also need to build a schedule every spring. So if you've got some specifics, I would love to look at those, and if there's tweaks that we can make to that, that would be great.
Okay.
You had something
I do have quite a few. Sorry.
Can I ask a question then about that? So I guess I'm understanding then, like, honors bio would be biology 1 in a college course.
Yeah, I just want to clarify that. They are standalone courses. They are not connected. So like honors chemistry, a student can just take honors chemistry. A student can just take honors bio. They do not need to proceed to AP bio or AP chemistry. So that's why they're not together in the Soaring Eagle. RAC offers, because of the way that RAC offers dual enrollment credit, they offer 4 credits for both our honors bio, because it meets a certain standard, and our AP bio, because it meets a certain standard. So you can actually get 8 credits, which many of our students do, in 1 year by taking both of those courses at Exeter. Chemistry is the same way. They just started doing this a couple years ago, and we took advantage of that because we had instructors that were qualified to teach those courses. It allowed for our students to get even more prerequisites out of the way. We have some teachers that are we have multiple honors bio teachers, for instance. both of which are qualified by RAC to be adjuncts there. So in that scenario, we have some students that are coming from one honors bio teacher, another honors bio teacher funneling into then AP bio. But they're all standalone courses. They're not connected. You don't have to proceed to AP Chem or AP Bio. You can just take one or the other.
So, okay, so if they're not funneling in, but you're saying you can get eight credits, forgive me.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're taking, say, I was expecting honors chemistry, okay, to get the 4 credits, but I'm in AP chemistry. What does that equate to then in RAC? Because I was under the assumption that, or could be misassumption, that honors was like first, like, like chemistry 1. And because if you take them both, you can't get 8 credits in Chem 1 and Chem 1. Like, you know what I mean? In college, you don't get 8 credits.
So you can. So we RAC.
That's what you get. So you were paying. So just for parents, if you take AP or if you take honors bio and you pay the $400 or $396, whatever, $400, and you pass the class with an A, you get the 4 credits. That's for Bio 101.
Well,
on your transcript.
That's not what it's called, but
What's
yes,
it called?
We have a RAC equivalency a RAC equivalency sheet that I don't have with me right here.
So they are 2 different classes at RAC.
Yes.
So it's like an intro to biology maybe and a Bio 101.
It is what RAC designates them as, and then you can take those credits to whatever college or university you transfer to, and then get equivalent credits for them. So in some colleges and universities, and you can speak to many students, they will get 6 or 8, depending on what their college is going to offer, for both honors bio and AP bio.
Right, if they're going for like teaching or something,
or
different things. Yeah,
it could be anything.
Well,
that's not for us to determine. All we are doing with a Soaring Eagle is telling you that there's an honors bio and an AP bio.
Dr. Battler.
And there are 8 different credits.
Dr. Battler, so honors bio is what's considered biology 1 at RAC, and AP is what's considered biology 2 at RAC.
That's what I was wondering. So if you're taking AP chemistry, is that chemistry 2?
So AP chemistry would be considered chemistry 2 at RAC, and honors chemistry would be considered chemistry 1.
Okay. So then I do have to discuss something with you, Mr. Campbell, at a later date. So, because that is confusing when it comes to scheduling. You usually don't skip chemistry 1 to go to chemistry 2. But you said those are standalone courses that you
can't get to our AP chemistry without taking our honors chemistry.
I'm saying yes, you can. It did. It happened to my daughter this year. I'm not arguing about it. I'm just saying, yes, it is possible. That's why I was confused. And trust me, last year when my son was going to 9th grade, my daughter going into 11th grade, they were deciding what they wanted to do. I read the entire Soaring Eagle. Like, I read it front to back because it was like going to college, right? I mean, this is a lot of courses. So I wanted to make sure what happened, and that is what happened. So that's why I wanted to make sure, but technically that should not happen. You should take honors and then take AP. Correct. If you're going to take it. Okay, just wanted to make sure that I understood how that worked. The other question I did have was the one class that we dropped, sorry, Dr. Hoyt. Forgive me. The one class that we dropped, is that the one that we just added last year and paid for?
Which one?
I'm sorry. I think it was an English class, or I think it was Writing for the 21st Century. Did we not just approve that last year?
No, that was AP Language and Composition that we approved last year.
Dr.
Yes.
Hoyt. That was I couldn't remember, so I just wanted to ask you that one. Other than that, thank you very much, gentlemen. I appreciate your help.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Go ahead.
I have a question. As a writer, I was curious to know, what was Writing for the 21st Century?
I mean, it was a just another writing course that was offered within the department. And then they looked at genres and they looked at texts that would have been relative during that time period. So not so much, whereas other writing classes look at historical pieces from many years back, whereas this was a little bit more, I would just say, contemporary.
Contemporary.
Yeah.
And people just didn't want to sign up for it.
Yeah, I mean, as a former high school assistant principal who built schedules, it's many times some of those elective areas are driven by requests, and you
Yeah.
have to balance some of that
Okay.
need about whether you want to run the course or not. So it is unfortunate, but we have to also be fiscally responsible when it comes to that as
I
well.
understand.
So, yep.
I was just curious to know, funny title. The other question I have is really inspired by Andrea's questions. Do we allow our students, when I was in grad school, and we signed up for classes, but you could also, I think they called it just shopping day or something, where you could go and sit in the first lecture of a course that you might be interested in, and if you liked it, then you could sign up. If you didn't like it, then you'd stick with what you signed up for. Do we allow our students to do that here?
Sort of. We have a lot of time in the spring where we have students gather information about what the best courses are for them. There's conversations within the department, so each department is carving out time to have conversations about what's the next best choice for you next year, because that's in everybody's best interest.
Sure.
There is a drop-add period where students are able to make some changes, but we really don't want students to do that, because to make the best master schedule and most opportunities for kids, we need to have the best choices selected in the spring, because that's going to make the overall schedule most effective and give the students the most options. So we don't have that same flexibility that a college campus would, simply because our schedule is a lot tighter. But they have some opportunities.
They do have some. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Campbell
All right,
and
thank
Dr.
you.
Alcaro. All right, the next thing on the agenda will be a settlement agreement between the parent individually on their own behalf and their minor child. Any questions on that or comments? All right. And finally, there is an agreement between Lincoln Center for Family and Youth and the Exeter Township School District to provide one educational placement slot for the 25-26 school year at a cost of $41,275. Any discussion on that?
Mrs. Wilson, if I could just quickly, just because this is a name that you're not familiar with, this is an out-of-district placement, but it's a relatively new program in the county. Wilson School District has an extra building in their district that they house their Berkshire Heights preschool at, and they are also now leasing to this alternative program. We have a student who just moved into the district and is currently in this program, so rather than disrupt his programming and move him to a different placement, we are retaining him in this placement, and as long as he makes progress there, and it gives us an opportunity as well to learn more about this program.
All right, so we will be moving forward with A, C, D, E, and F from the Education Committee. Okay, Finance and Audit. Do we have anybody who's taking over from Mr. Morgan?
I could do it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mill.
Sure. Finance and Audit, the first item, or the only item that's on there, is the sale of property located on East 40th Street, which is across from the Rifton School. There are, I believe, 2 bids that came in. The highest bid was for $53,000 from a Mr. James Flood.
Do we have any say in what Mr. Flood does or doesn't do with that land, or is it entirely up to him?
No.
Consistent with the zoning,
Yeah, consistent with the zoning.
so he couldn't put up a 30-story luxury hotel in that.
I don't think it would support that. But no, you don't have any say in what is put there.
Yeah, okay.
Right now, the zoning is residential, and according to the township, since it's on a dead-end street, it'd be 1 home, possibly 2 with a variance, but they'd have to build a cul-de-sac.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
So, yeah, I wasn't here for the October meetings, unfortunately, so I didn't have an opinion I could give on this. I know that for full transparency, one of the bidders had reached out to me just to inquire about the land that they had heard was for sale before, and I redirected that person over to Mr. Fike in terms of bid process and all of that. But I will say for this property here, I am not in favor of selling it. I do feel that I think we had an appraisal done for $100,000. Now I know that was at the time was under the assumption that could be a cul-de-sac and we could fit more homes on it. Obviously, with the language that's in the saldo at the township, that brings that into question. But I do feel that the land is for that price is being sold very cheap, and I do think after further discussion with the board that we had the last time that there could be potential use or need for it in the future, and I'm of the mind of we should just keep it and maintain it at the minimum that we need to. So I guess my question or my recommendation to you, Mrs. Wilson, is if we do a straw poll of the board now and see if this is something that we even want to bring to the voting meeting, and assuming accepting the highest bidder on this.
Okay.
Sharon, can I have a question? Since it was advertised that the decision would be made at the voting meeting, do we still have to move it forward?
Do you have to move it forward? You could temporarily table it, but I don't think for long, and the longer you table it, the individual who was, you've already had a vote to put this out for bid and through a public auction, and that was done. So you've already said you're willing to engage in that process. I'd have to do a little research to determine if you can walk away from it entirely at this point. If there's been any detrimental reliance by the bidder, which I wouldn't think there would be at this juncture, that you may be able to sort of cancel the whole transaction without any financial repercussions. But I'm not 100% sure of that sitting here right now.
Yeah,
So-
the reason I asked is the ad or the legal notice put in the paper said that the board would vote on it, whether to accept
Sure.
or reject.
Okay.
Right.
So then, in that case, Mrs. Montaigne, your recommendation is we don't do a straw poll and then just go take it to the voting meeting and we decide then? But I guess I would be interested to know what are the ramifications of voting no. If the majority of the board votes no to accept the bid, what happens?
If the majority accepts the bid?
It votes no against the
Oh,
bid.
it votes against the bid. Well, again, probably nothing unless the high bidder has already taken steps and incurred, financial considerations in the expectation that he's getting this property. It could end up in some sort of minor lawsuit, because if they feel like they're left out of something that they thought they were getting and it was a public auction, we really have to have a basis for saying why we're rejecting this. And we certainly wouldn't want to have a basis for saying, well, we think you're going to put up a vape shop and we don't like that. That can't, if there was any talk like that, you would have a problem not awarding the bid.
Right.
There's no talk like that. I'm not suggesting that. But the only risk is if the high bidder has relied on that already before you reject it.
Sure.
And that's a risk. It's a minor risk at this point, but I can't say there's no risk.
And the other question I would have is if we vote to reject that bid, there is no, is there any ramification of then, does the follow-up bidder feel like they are entitled then to?
Absolutely not.
Okay, good, okay. So.
Okay, so
And
we'll
you
vote.
can straw poll if you want. It's not going to do any damage one way or another.
I don't know if there's any reason to do that right now, since we have to take it to vote. So we'll just take that to a vote. the next meeting. Okay.
That's it?
Thank you, Mr. Mel. And then Dr. Battler, Facilities and Transportation Committee update.
Yes, ma'am. It is recommended that the Board of School Directors discuss the replacement of the senior high school elevator. I've ridden in this elevator multiple times, and it's a scary experience. I will not lie to you. No, it's not a scary experience. I mean, I've had worse, but it definitely needs to be updated at its earliest convenience before it completely stops working, is my opinion. But what would you like to say, Mr. Fike? I'm sure you'd like to speak to it.
We discussed this last spring. We thought
Yes.
we'd bring it up this fall because there was nothing we can do in the summer, but I think we need to move sooner than later.
Yeah.
We have reviewed the options. The existing elevator shaft is too small to enlarge that. We'd be taking out classrooms and hallways, and we also looked at actually putting on the outside of the building, but that would cost twice as much as putting on the inside of the building. We have come up with a location. We even talked to the principals.
Wasn't it a
at the high
stairwell?
school, which would be a stairwell right outside between the two gyms.
Yeah.
We've checked with the township. We have more than enough existing ingress and egress, whatever stairwells, that would not be an issue of using that. I would say if we're going to do it, we have to do it in the summer because demolition is going to be very noisy. And we have to dig a shaft in the bottom floor. After that, we can finish the work in the fall on off hours, which is going to be hard, especially because it's between two gyms. We don't have much off hours, so I would push sooner than later to try to get done this summer. As you know, the existing elevator, we've had several calls when the power goes out. People get trapped because it's not backup generator, so we have to get the fire company out to get the people out. It's old, it works, but parts are being very hard to find.
Right.
In fact, I think the last one we had it out manufactured.
Yeah. Do we have this built into the budget?
We actually have it
currently?
built into the capital improvement
capital
plan that we
improvement
did.
plan? Okay. That's what I
We
thought.
have
Just wanted to
roughly
double check.
3.6 or 3.7 million left from that. We wanted to wait to make sure there wasn't any cost overruns on the last projects. In
Sure.
fact, we got everything back. We had that and the high school auditorium and stage, but we figured we need to do the elevator first before we worry about the auditorium and stage.
And do we feel as though that we have enough to cover this project?
I think
don't
we
know how
have
much this
enough, and the other thing I'd like to move fast, or sooner than later, because the state added additional grant money for infrastructure.
Oh, okay.
Which we could
Take advantage of.
basically have to do at least a 25% match. Last rounds, they were giving $500 to $1 million per grantee, and I'm figuring this is going to be about $2 million project. So if we can get $500 and $1 million, that would not have to be out of our capital improvement.
Awesome.
So, and that grants should be coming out shortly. I think they had 60 days to come out with the applications from the budget
Okay.
approval.
Nice,
So,
okay.
in the earlier discussions, I seem to remember some discussion of the Americans with Disabilities Act playing a
Correct.
role here. Could you review that for us?
Well, right now, let me look at it this way. Right now, we can fit a stretcher in there, in the elevator, but not a person in front or back. So they have to be on the side. New code requires that a person can be in front of the stretcher and a person in back. We're grandfathered, but if that elevator goes and we try to replace it in kind, we can't. So it's just too small. Yep.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I think in hearing that it's a safety concern and that, that there's state grant money possibly available, I think it's a good time to move forward with it, so.
I'll probably have an agreement just to get the ball rolling in the next meeting, for the engineering and whatever else we need to do. Okay?
Mr. Fike, so when we talked about the elevator back in March, and the cost then was 1.1 million.
Right.
And now we're saying it's 2 million. Where is that who is giving us that number?
I'm saying maximum 2 million.
Okay.
The 1.1 million, I think was looking at the numbers from the year before.
Okay. So, so it's
we
nearly doubled from.
since April, yeah. And that number was what, 2 years ago when we did all the projects, so that's actually a year and a half or double.
And who is the quote from? Is this from Quandel?
That was from Quandel, from their putting it out to the contractors, but we actually have not bid it out to see what the actual cost will be.
Okay. So the 2 million's an estimate at this point.
I think that's a maximum.
Max. Okay.
Max.
So we would be voting on once you get final
Put it
numbers?
out to bid and get it moving.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll still have to approve the bids and the actual final cost, but, we need to get a demolition bid, we need to get an elevator shaft, because usually the elevator is one company that does the shaft and over from bottom to top, but you have to have someone to demolish all the stairwells in the interior. The other thing, in using the existing stairwell, they're already fire rated.
So was the 1.1 million before in the existing shaft?
That's when we did the, as an add-on to the ESCO, when we did the junior high and senior high and all the 28.6 million. Well, actually it was like 31 or 32 million. We knocked it down to 28 and we pushed the elevator off. And also the auditorium.
But my question was it like in the same spot and now we're moving
That
it?
was an estimate for that.
Same spot.
Interior. Correct.
Okay.
Because at that time we determined that putting one on the outside, we'd lose, I think, 3 floors of classrooms because you'd have to come right through the classrooms to get to the hallways. And if we put in an existing shaft, we'd have to expand that, which would take out classrooms, and I think there was even a bathroom that would have been cut down going up.
But that
The existing
explains,
one goes
the
half
cost.
floors, where this one actually goes a full floor all the way up through and down to the bottom. The only change would be on the basement floor. We'd have to take a little bit of a storage room out to be able to open up in that area, or put a double door, which would be more expensive on the elevator to bring out to the other side.
Okay, forgive me, I just got a little confused there. So by taking out putting it in the stairwell.
Correct.
That stairwell goes from the basement clear up to the second
level that
floor.
we need to get to. Yeah.
Okay, to this, okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure I understood that part correctly, because when you were talking about digging out, I was like, wait a minute,
They
digging
still have
out.
to put a pit.
Right, a pit, right,
underneath.
right, for
Correct.
the machinery, right, okay, I understood that. Now, with the existing, the existing one that is there, is that just going to be filled in?
It's going to be blocked off.
Just blocked off, okay, like not storage on each level or anything like that, just completely blocked off?
Completely blocked off.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I understood, and there's not a problem with doing that?
No.
Okay, sorry, that was.
Right.
Okay, then moving on, all right. The next is recommended that the Board of School Directors discuss the proposed Pennsylvania American Water rate increase, and its impact to the district budget, which we are all dealing with.
So in preparation for this discussion, I asked Brian if we could please gather the numbers for what the cost of water here is in Exeter. Obviously, this building is not included because this building is St. Lawrence, but you can see that the water bill in the township is extremely high. So, and as a resident, we also understand that. So an increase to that would have a substantial impact on already an extremely high bill for the school district, which then would translate into a direct impact on our taxpayers because we have to have running water. So Brian, I'll just let you explain what our bills are.
Yeah, now we over the years we've been doing water conservation. If you can see, the junior high is actually less than what is it, a Watton, because the last 2 years, we replaced most of the plumbing fixtures there. The senior high, we've been slowly replacing plumbing fixtures with water conservation fixtures. I know I get calls because sometimes they get upset when they run for 10 seconds, or 15 seconds when you hit the button. But, we're trying to save water. But if it actually showed you the usage times or where the bills were higher, it's mostly in the fall, especially at the senior high school, because the stadium uses a lot of water, and we have not touched anything on the conservation in that. Yeah, this could add another $50,000-$60,000 a year just to the one increase we're talking about now, which will probably go through. 3 years ago, in the capital improvement projects, one of the things we didn't do, we included in the junior high, was look at replacing all the fixtures in the district. At that time, the cost would have been, I think, 8 or 9 years to recoup the costs for the water savings. I could probably look at that again now because I'm figuring it's going to be under 3 years with the new rates. But we've been slowly changing out fixtures when we can. But it is a huge bill. Yeah. Just like we looked at saving electric costs and putting in a farm, solar farm. So.
Did anything, sorry, Mrs. Wilson.
No, I was just going to say, I guess in the past, like we wrote, did we put together a letter from the school board?
And the last time we did this, I believe was, I think in the fall of 2023 or whenever that last rate increase was, that the citizens sent complaints about, but that we directed the administration to send a complaint letter to the PUC, I believe is what that directive was. And there was not a need for a formal vote with that. That was just the board taking a straw poll and deciding to give the administration that directive to send that.
Okay. Would we be interested in doing that again? Should we take
Surely.
a straw poll?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I'm a yes.
I'm a yes.
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 I think everybody's a yes.
Yeah, I think everybody's a yes.
So,
Did anything happen at the meeting last night or the night before at the Dunn Center? Wasn't there a meeting about Pennsylvania, right? Okay.
Right.
Because I watched it I watched part of it online and missed.
My understanding,
Sorry, go
the
ahead,
purpose of that meeting, which I believe was led by the newly elected supervisor, Amanda Johnson, and I believe it was attended by at least two state politicians. I think it was Senator Schwank and Representative Gillen, I believe, were both there. But the purpose, from my understanding, was to give instructions on how, give the citizens instructions on how to submit a complaint, whether that's a formal, informal complaint. I don't think there was no one there, to my knowledge, from Pennsylvania American Water or the PUC to hear residents' complaints. It was more so getting people together for their knowledge to submit complaints ahead of the deadline, which I don't have the letter in front of me, but I do know the deadline, I think, is January, potentially, somewhere.
Correct. And I think the last time, I'm not sure what the final outcome was, but because of the number of complaints, they had to have public hearings that actually delayed the increase for a while. And I'm not sure if I think it was a decreased increase. Yeah. Right.
Yes, so I do have the letter here up in front of me, and formal complaints should be filed with the PUC before January 13th, 2026. So we have to get it sent by then. Well, they should receive it before then, I should say.
Thank you, Mr. Mel.
I'm wondering if it would also be worth it to write letters to our state representatives who represent this part of the district to let them know what the burden is on the district with the current state of the water, as well as what it is going to be if this rate goes through, if they're that involved. I do think that they need to be aware of this because, I mean, people need water to survive. And these increases are just completely and totally outrageous. And speaking to one taxpayer and them sharing their water bill over the course of the year, which is a 4-person household, their water bill was $1,000 more than their township taxes. Like, that's outrageous. That's outrageous.
More than their township taxes or the school tax?
More than their township taxes. And very close to what they're paying in school taxes.
I was going to say, the
Very
bills are
close-
getting very close
very
to
close.
to the school
So
tax.
like very close to, like, when people are paying a $4,000 water bill, that's insane.
Yeah, I mean, I was there for the meetings when all of this was taking place, when they were talking to Pennsylvania American Water and some other companies. And I mean, the original deal was that there was an anticipated rate hike soon after the acquisition, and there was two things that happened in conjunction with that. One was that the then supervisors on the board that approved this, they increased the existing sewer rates as part of the deal prior to the acquisition, and then there was anticipated, I believe it was a 29% rate increase that was anticipated for the customers after the acquisition. But part of the concessions to the township residents was that there was a homestead exemption on the first $50,000 of your property. So the first $50,000 of your property you did not have to pay township property tax on. Well, apparently nothing was binding in that, and then 2 years later a new board of supervisors decided to retract that. So right there went that incentive. So it's a double whammy. I mean, we're getting hit, from the retraction of the tax benefit that was initially an enticement for citizens to go along with this, and it feels like a bait and switch, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think it's pretty egregious, the amount of money that we're having to pay for water and sewer, and yeah, and I know it's essentially a tax. It's essentially a tax on the residents disguised as a bill. That's what it is.
Sorry, that's all for my committee.
Okay, thank you. All right, Personnel Committee, Dr. Herring.
Thank you. We'll be moving to our voting meeting. Resignations, retirements, appointments, change of status, leaves of absence, and an updated job description for the bus mechanic assistant position. Brian, is there anything you want to say about that?
That was I guess Diane can answer, but it was
I'm sorry.
asked
Oh,
for
you know
by
what?
the
Diane,
transportation
what would you like
director.
to say about that? I'm just so used to you.
So, thank you, Dr. Herring. Like we typically have been doing, we are adjusting our job descriptions as we go along. Our bus mechanic just recently resigned to take on a training position for a CDL bus driver. So we relooked at our bus mechanic assistant title and job description and just made a few little adjustments there. So.
Thank you very much, Diane. And that's everything.
I have a question.
Oh, sure.
So sorry,
Have
since we're
at it.
discussing.
Mhm.
For the change in status under the administrative staff, Miss Senora Mandel is the only Spanish teacher that I know of at the junior high. Is there going to be, who's taking her spot? for the rest of the year and then going forward? Sorry, go ahead.
We are
Yeah.
we
No,
are
no
conducting
extendio, no.
interviews. We
No,
have
gracias.
interviews scheduled.
I'm sorry, what?
We have interviews scheduled.
Okay.
And in the meantime, we will be working with Mr. Brown to have an interim substitute until we can bring on that new person.
Okay.
For full transparency, I just want to make the board aware that when you look at the landscape of education right now, the number of people willing to go into education is at basically an all-time low, specifically in math, sciences, and special ed and languages. They're not having kids are not going in to be language teachers. Languages are also not required at the middle school level, and there are districts that no longer offer languages as a result of lack of certification. So as people begin to retire, because the staff in Exeter is getting older, they're towards retirement, we're going to have to really think about what we're offering, and if we can continue to offer it, not because we don't want to, but because the people with the certifications just simply they're not out there.
A quick question, I guess. I completely understand where you're coming from. I can't imagine a lot of people going into languages right now. But one of the questions I guess I would have is, should we get rid of, should we not be able to, I shouldn't say should we get rid of, but should we not be able to replace Spanish, right, at the junior high? And we still have French there and German, correct? A German teacher comes over from the high school, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Would it behoove us to consider doing the money, what'd they call it, money 101, the thing that we now have to get to graduate?
Personal finance.
Forgive me, yes, the personal finance in, say, 8th grade, along with home ec or something, instead of language, if we cannot replace all of these language teachers.
You have to.
Dr.
You can't do
Battler,
that?
the personal finance course has to be in the high school. That's
Has to
the
be,
state
okay.
mandate, yes. Because
Sorry.
we thought the same thing. That was the hope of everybody. And that would be, in many cases, the
Easiest.
best situation, but it is required for high schools.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Hoyt. Okay.
Question for our superintendent. And when I'm going to say we here, I mean we in education. What are we doing about this problem? We know that it exists. We know that kids aren't going. What are we doing? What is Exeter doing? What is the BCIU doing? What is the State Department of Education doing?
It's not an Exeter problem, and it's not an IU problem. It's a national problem. And the state in the governor's budget has put in stipends for student teachers with the hope that that would draw people into education. But frankly, people just don't want to go into education for a lot of reasons. One, because they look at the cost of going to college, and then when you get out of college, what the cost is to become a teacher, what you're getting paid, and the amount that you get paid over the course of time. There's no longer really a pension system in Pennsylvania, not like one that was offered before, which is what often drew people into the profession because of the retirement incentive. That's not drawing people in anymore because that's not available. And to be honest and frank, teachers are constantly under attack. They're constantly under attack, personally, professionally, they're constantly under attack. And people don't want to be attacked like that for doing a job that they love. So there's people that would love to go into education, but they're not interested in going to education because just go on social media. And they're not interested in doing it. So I believe that part of it is we've created our own problems. Now, here in Exeter, what we have personally tried to do is we created a partnership with Immaculata where we are offering up to 9 credits for students who take courses through Mr. Ricketts. He's the first one, and they'll get 9 education credits. We have a great program with our internships where kids are going to our elementary buildings, Rifton, the junior high, and doing internships, and even at the high school to entice them. We had a student in the audience tonight, Chase Detweiler, who wants to be a chemistry teacher. I told him, like, you know, Chase, you better send me your resume first, you know? So I think the grow your own is very significant. But I also believe that if you believe in growing your own, then when you have an opportunity to hire your own, you should do that, which is what we've done here in Exeter. And if you look at the number of people that we've brought in, teachers that we've brought in, many of them are Exeter grads. Not saying that we don't hire people outside of Exeter, because, you know, we most certainly do. But when we have an opportunity to hire one of our own kids, we take that opportunity because we want them to come back to Exeter. So that's what we've personally have done. I know other districts are doing the same thing, but we're not alone in the difficulty to attract and retain staff. And people can go anywhere right now. If you go on PA Reap or all different websites, there's bonuses that are being offered, and because you can go pretty much anywhere you want right now, because there are so many positions that are open. And I don't know, Josh, if you want to add to that.
Sure. Additionally, what we do is we partner with all of our local colleges and universities with their education majors. I was at Albright's evening education fair a couple weeks ago to meet their department and prospective student teachers and current student teachers. Kutztown provides us a list with all of their current student teachers. So if we know that we have a potential opening, we proactively try to reach out to them to encourage them to apply. So any of our local colleges and universities, I'm in direct contact with many of them to find out, like, you know, who do you have student teaching and what different content areas. And frankly, a lot of the students who are currently in some of our local colleges are actually New Jersey residents. So they're getting certified here, and then they're moving back home to New Jersey, getting their New Jersey certification and staying there. So there's a good handful of student teachers in the county, but a lot of them are actually not from the state. But we certainly do whatever we can to proactively reach out and make those connections and try to meet with them. I know Mrs. Skornovaki goes to the career fairs for education, so some members of my staff had attended them. So if we can get ahead of them early, we certainly do that. We have a number of college students who come in. I get requests all the time to do observation hours, which are part of them. We try to develop a relationship with those individuals to keep them in contact with us so they see what a great place Exeter is, so that, you know, a year or two from now, they also apply as well. So.
How many, under this grow your own philosophy, how many students or how many teachers have we hired, say, in the last 3 years since you've been here?
We've hired a lot of teachers. I mean, even this year, I want to say, did we hire 3 former Exeter students? First grade teacher at Lorraine, English teacher, high school chemistry, and I believe there was one other that might have been in Exeter.
Yeah, I would.
Oh, special, yeah.
Yeah, I
think-
would say in the past, since Dr. Howler's been superintendent and I've been HR director, we've probably hired about 10 to 12 of our former students. We periodically bring them back even as subs to get started. So we love to bring our own students back.
And they're teaching now?
Yes.
Yeah. So these are all very young people?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good.
The first grade teacher at Lorraine was a student at Rifton when I was, or a student at Lorraine when I was there.
Mhm.
And
So I'm
one
not
of
the
and
only
one
old
of our
one in the-
one of our
I'm not
thir-
the only old
one
one
of
in
our
the
thir-
room.
One of our PE teacher was a Rifton, one of my Rifton students. One of our third grade teachers was a Rifton student. One of our special ed teachers at Jackson Weld was a Rifton. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them.
And do we do like the banks, if they bring a friend?
As we try that.
do we
We
give
do
them a-
try that.
Yeah, refer a friend.
We also
I mean,
have a lot of our
that's not
support staff
not a-
come back and
not-
work with
yeah.
us too.
So I'm starting to feel very old right now. So when I see these kids, so.
Good, thank you.
I think that's everything for
All right,
personnel.
thank you. All right, Mrs. Bloom is listed as policy committee, but there are no policies. Okay. All right, we now have public comment for anyone who would like to comment, but doesn't really look like anybody else is here from the public. So we're going to be forwarding the following items to the voting agenda. From the Education Committee, A, C, D, E, and F. From the Finance and Audit Committee, A. From Facilities and Transportation, A. From Personnel, A through F. Okay, would anyone like to be heard at this time?
Mrs. Wilson, I would.
Oh, okay, so go ahead, Mr. Mell, and then Mr. Fiddler.
Oh, okay. So we, as the board, received a letter from Representative Maloney, also co-signed along with Representative Mark Gillen, who actually represents our school district, the 128th Legislative District. And the purpose of the letter was asking the school board members to essentially fly the POW MIA flag on school grounds. Based on their letter, they said the Boyertown area, Brandywine Heights area, Fleetwood area, Hamburg area, Kutztown area, Muhlenberg, Ole Valley, and Reading school districts presently fly the POW MIA flag. And there was an example most recently given within there where there was a flag raising at Fleetwood High School on November 13th. Based on the letter, it said their offices are more than happy to provide a 3-foot by 5-foot POW MIA flag for each of the school buildings should we wish to fly them. So essentially, I'm trying to ascertain an opinion from the board or administration in terms of how we want to proceed with this.
Can I ask a question? Is this exterior?
The flag
To be flown exterior of the buildings?
Yeah, I mean, from my understanding, the only thing that they say in here is on school grounds.
So I do know schools that have the flags, but they also have 3 flag poles where they have the U.S. flag, state flag, and then the 3rd flag. Every one of our exterior buildings or flag poles is single for every building.
Yeah.
So if you want to fly the exterior, I would say you'd have to add a flagpole to each building. And I would not recommend just one. I'd also put up the Pennsylvania state flag if you're going to do that, so it'd be 2. I'd have a question on whether that flag needs to be lit, because if it does, then you'll need electricity for that flagpole too. Or are they talking interior and gyms? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it doesn't, I don't believe it specifies within the letter here of whether that's interior or exterior. However, in the example link that they gave on YouTube with the Fleetwood High School flag raising, and I'm under the assumption that was the only building that they may have put the flag. I don't know for sure, but that's at least where the ceremony was held. Representative Maloney, State Senator Schwenk, and veterans presented during that. Now, I will say that in that example that they gave, it's on a single flagpole, and the POW MIA flag is flown underneath the American flag. So I would then, I think we have to have an explanation of why we couldn't do it on a single flagpole underneath the American flag.
Yeah, I'd have to check on we'd probably have to do new rigging I'd also be concerned if you're ever at half-mast, does a POW flag go into the ground or not?
Yeah.
I did ask Steve, when I heard about this, what the cost of a flagpole would be. You know, and plus we'd have to look at policy because there might be other requests for other flags to be flown too. So, Steve?
So, Mr. Pike asked me to look into it today. So just with the option of adding it here out front of the administration building, which would probably save us a little bit of electricity, because those lights are different as they shine up from the sidewalk pathway. They're not lights directly shadowed underneath. So we would not have to run electric, but the cost was still high. For 2 flagpoles, around $3,900 to have 2 flagpoles added in there. Probably not the best time of year to do it. We could do it in the springtime. A much cheaper option maybe would be put one in the main gym at the high school, or all the buildings' main gyms displayed, where you would actually, that's where most public visits would be. And that would just be the cost of the flag and then our time hanging it. But it's also not just putting up the flagpole, it's, they have to be at the right height. The 2 flags have to be lower than the American flag. You have to have certain dimensions, just looking into it. But I wouldn't recommend putting them in each building because it would be a cost.
Sure. So I know you're giving the price of an entire flagpole, and I mean, I'm going to be candid. I think people are going to, if we say we're not doing this because we'd have to install flagpoles, I think people are going to laugh at us. What is the cost of the rigging that we talked about if we would just have to put the flag underneath the American flag?
It would just be the addition of, I didn't check on the specific price of just the rigging, but it'd be also making sure that the rigging on top of the flagpole would support each flag.
Okay.
On days where we would go to half-mast, like just most recently for Dick Cheney, that flag would have to come out because there's supposed to be a regulation on how high, so we'd only be able to display it. And I'm going to tell you, and I'm not saying we use it too much, but in the past year, I bet you at least once or twice a month we're flying at half-mast. So it's just
Sure.
a matter of, we wouldn't be able to display it at those times if we put it up because it would be too low. The pole here is, I believe, 30 feet. I counted it because I stood next to it and then counted 5 more steeps on top of this steep. So I know it's 30 feet.
Sure.
So we would probably end up buying a 25-foot flagpole, which came out to $12.95, and then either a 20-footer or another 25-footer at $12.95, just for the pole, the installation, figure around $400 for each flagpole, for $800, and then $300 for any electrical work that needs to be done or anything else. Plus
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think my suggestion would be that we have administration contact maybe some of these other schools, maybe even in particular Fleetwood High School, and ask them how they're handling, half-mast and all these other things. Because, again, that is the example that was shown to us in this letter. And I would feel silly telling constituents that we can't fly this flag because we can't share a pole, but all these other schools are doing it. So it just seems a bit of a, not a great explanation, at least from my part. I think if anything, we should probably get some more research done on it and then potentially put it on an agenda item for further discussion for the board to consider.
Can I ask, this isn't a mandate, correct? This is just
This
a
is not a
request.
mandate, correct. And
I'm not saying it minimalizes it, but I'm just curious.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, this is simply this was a suggestion that came to us by a state representative. It would, however, require us to make a small amendment to one of our policies that have to deal with the flags.
Okay. So we do have the option of having it inside the building or adding it to pre-existing. Do we have any flags inside the building at this point? I can't.
We just have the American flag located in the main gym.
In the main gym.
For all events there.
Right, okay.
Other than that, I mean, classrooms.
Right.
Each classroom.
Now at the auditoriums, we have both the American and the state flag on individual poles.
But I mean, it can be, I mean, if you think about it, and I know, I mean, we have like 3,700 events in that gym yearly. I mean, if you're looking for school support and you want to run grounds, it just seems like a cheap option. Put floating American flag in the main gym, or all main gyms, it's a cheap option for now until we can decide whether or not we have the money to proceed with install the flagpole. Then we'll kind of play.
I think one question for the board to consider, maybe not in tonight's discussion, but then moving forward is, what is your process for deciding what flags go up and what flags do not go up? This is the first request that you've had since I've been here anyway. I don't know if there have been ones in previous years, but this is the first request that you've had to put up an alternate flag, in addition to the American flag. So I would just encourage you to also think about what is your process for selection of what flags you're putting up, because I think
Flags can become a very hot topic.
it can be. That's why it's just a
and so-
cautionary, just thinking ahead a little bit for you. That's
I
all.
don't know what your policy says without looking it up, but.
I have it here.
Oh. But yeah, once you open that door, you've opened the door, and then you
Yeah.
are subject to all those viewpoint discrimination issues.
Yeah, the representative, they did send a copy of the amended policy that I believe it was Boyertown that amended
Boyertown.
policy 807. And what they did was they added a line to it that specifically called out a prisoner of war missing in action flag shall be displayed on or near each school building during school hours in clement weather and at other times determined by the board. That's essentially specifically gave it just that flags.
Just that flag.
Yeah.
That still could be subject to a challenge, because it
Yeah.
is still specifying a viewpoint, a specific viewpoint, and potentially then excluding others. But it's a step in the right direction if you want to take that step.
Well, they're offering free flags, so I would say if we can get that if this is something we move forward with, I would definitely take them up on that. I don't think you're going to get them to pay for a flagpole. You're more than willing to ask, but I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, thank you, sir. So I don't know, Mrs. Wilson, what we want to do, if that's something you want to consider putting on a future agenda for formal discussion then.
All right, do we want to just wait until we get some more information from the other school districts? So should we ask that we bring it up at the January COW so that we can just gather a little bit more information and discuss it again? Okay. All right. Mr. Fiddler.
Two things. First of all, I'd like to personally, and I hope on behalf of the board, thank Mr. Mell for his year of service as president. It's often said that being on the school board is a thankless job. I think being president is probably thankless 2.0, but not for me. So I want to thank you personally for your year of service. I would also like to just reflect personally on having enjoyed thoroughly Ken Burns's latest documentary, The American Revolution. I don't know if any of you saw it. I would say Burns, after Frederick Wiseman, is America's greatest living documentary filmmaker. And I would just encourage the academic leaders here to, if it hasn't already been done, to include that in history classes, politics, literature. I mean, you could pretty much put it anywhere and appreciate it. It is very good history. It is very good narrative. I think it's Jeffrey Ward wrote this one, as he has for so many of other Burns's work. So I just wanted to add that note. Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Okay, if nothing else, our next meeting will be our voting meeting on Tuesday, December 16th at 7 p.m. Mrs. Schaefer will be back and in this seat. So if there are no objections, we'll adjourn this meeting. Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned.